Healthy cells are programmed to self-destruct when they become damaged, a biological safety protocol known as apoptosis. Cancer cells manage to turn this internal kill switch off, allowing them to multiply without limits. To sustain that aggressive expansion, tumors demand a massive influx of nutrients. They satisfy this appetite by building thousands of extra doorways along their outer cell membranes, designed to pull in resources from the surrounding environment. In cellular biology, these doorways are called receptors. In several highly aggressive malignancies, like glioblastoma, prostate, and breast cancer, we see a massive overexpression of specific receptors named CB1, CB2, and TRPV2. But building all these extra access points creates a vulnerability. The cancer cell has unknowingly wired itself with a direct line to its own suppressed self-destruct mechanism. Cannabidiol, or CBD, is a non-psychoactive plant compound. Its molecular structure allows it to bind specifically to these overexpressed receptors. When introduced into the bloodstream, CBD docks into these receptors. What was built to be the tumor's supply line suddenly becomes a point of infiltration. Because malignant cells have manufactured so many more of these receptors than the healthy tissue surrounding them, the CBD molecules selectively swarm the tumor while leaving normal cells intact. Once inside, CBD begins dismantling the cell from the inside out. It immediately alters the cellular chemistry, triggering severe shock to the endoplasmic reticulum, the cell's main protein manufacturing center. This initial shockwave causes the cell to produce reactive oxygen species, highly unstable molecules that effectively corrode the cell's internal systems. This chart maps the chemical cascade. Up top, CBD initiates mitochondrial dysfunction and an integrated stress response. Following the arrows down, this stress wakes the cell's dormant apoptosis sequence, triggering caspase-3, the executioner enzymes, leading to pyroptosis, or programmed cell death. CBD actively forces the cancer to execute its own natural death program. Even if some cells survive that internal sabotage, tumors face a logistical problem. To grow beyond a microscopic size, they must construct networks of new blood vessels to pull nutrients from the host. They build these vascular networks by releasing a specific signaling protein called VEGF. CBD actively suppresses this protein, stopping the tumor from laying down new infrastructure. Without the ability to forge those critical supply lines, the tumor is choked off and starves in isolation. A solid tumor localized in one place is rarely fatal on its own. The true danger arises when the cancer gains mobility and migrates to secondary organs, a progression called metastasis. Here, CBD acts as a chemical roadblock. It increases the production of TIMP-1, a protective protein acting as a physical barrier against tumor invasion, while simultaneously stripping away the enzymes the cancer uses to break through tissue. This data tracks physical results in living models. Top-line graphs show tumor volume in untreated groups expanding rapidly, while CBD-treated growth remains heavily suppressed. The bottom bar chart shows a sharp drop-off in cancerous lung nodules for CBD-treated models, proving halted metastases. By forcing cellular suicide, starving the blood supply, and physically containing the spread, the compound systematically dismantles the survival mechanisms the tumor relies on. Moving from microscopic biology to clinical applications, researchers are finding that CBD does not have to be deployed as a standalone treatment. Because it degrades the cancer's defensive walls, it leaves those cells vulnerable to traditional aggressive chemotherapy drugs like paclitaxel or temozolomide. This photograph from a recent trial captures the physical reality of this intervention. At the top are the large, untreated tumors. Directly below them are the tumors treated with cannabidiol, visibly shrunken and withered. This synergistic effect helps overcome the persistent problem of chemotherapy resistance. Weakening the tumor first allows doctors to potentially use lower doses of toxic drugs while achieving a much higher rate of tumor destruction. To test if these biological models translate to humans, a recent observational study tracked 119 individuals with cancer who were given a pharmaceutical-grade CBD isolate. Data from that study revealed that 92% of the patients demonstrated a clinical response, recorded either through a reduction in the physical size of their tumors or a measurable drop in circulating cancer cells. Large-scale clinical trials are still required to establish exact dosing protocols and to solve issues with how the human body absorbs and metabolizes the compound. The cultivation of the cannabis plant stretches back thousands of years, But extracting and refining its specific compounds into a targeted medical tool is a modern frontier. CBD is a biologically precise molecule capable of executing a multi-targeted attack against the specific vulnerabilities of a tumor cell, making it a promising frontier in combination oncology.